Well, hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Rev Cassandra Rae, the Spiritual Director for the Center for Spiritual Living White Rock. We're an inclusive learning center of practical spirituality based in the Metro Vancouver Lower Mainland area, British Columbia, Canada. And we create sacred opportunities for personal empowerment and collective transformation through wholehearted experiences of truth and spirit. So wherever you are on your path, whether you're struggling or soaring or a bit of both, there is a place for you here. And as we begin our gathering here today, I respectfully acknowledge that I live and work on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Coast Salish First Nations, including Kwikwetlem, Tsleil-Waututh, and Stalo nations. And so we thank the First Nations who continue to live on these lands and care for them, along with the waters and all that is above and below. And so now I invite you to just let everything else go as we join here together in this collective consciousness. Let's ground our time together in prayer. And so I invite you to turn within for a moment and to breathe with conscious awareness, recognizing that this is the breath of the divine that is moving through the body right here and right now. This one life, this one infinite love, this one deep and powerful potential for all that is expanding and expressing itself through all life everywhere. And I recognize that it is the essence of all things, the wholeness in back of everyone and everything. That it is the truth of who and what I am, and the truth of who and what each one is here today. And so what I claim, affirm, and know is that this time, that it illuminates that inner truth of the divine. And that through this experience, that each one of us is lifted up, is held in this love, that each one of us knows our inherent worth and value, that anything that troubles the mind or the heart is held in this divine grace. And so healing comes forward in whatever way it is needed. An experience of wholeness, an experience of connection and belonging is happening right here and now. And so I just offer such deep gratitude for everyone that is here, both present in this time, in this Zoom meeting, and also each one that tunes in to the recording. And just recognizing that the presence is a gift. And so I just give thanks for the gifts received from this time together, from the expanded awareness, from the ease in the heart. Just knowing that we're all nourished by this time together. I let it be, and so it is. Each Sunday, we are blessed with live music. And today we welcome for the very first time, Sophia Costello. She's a Canadian singer, songwriter, born and raised in Vancouver. She started playing guitar when she was 9 and found an absolute love for music. She started performing when she was 14, busking around White Rock and playing at the White Rock Farmers Market, as well as open mics. And she later started playing at breweries, restaurants, and cafes. Sophia has recently been accepted to the Berklee College of Music in Boston, Massachusetts, and will be studying music, recording, and production. We are so blessed. Please join me in welcoming Sophia.
Hi, thank you so much. It's so nice to be here. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was beautiful. Beautiful prayer, and it's something that recently I've had to learn and discover, just being present, how important that is. So it's really lovely thing to be aware of, and it's so nice to be here playing for all of you today and supporting the arts. So this is a first. This is original. It's the first original I've ever written, so it's the first and only one. All right. Doesn't really have a title yet, but I guess you could call it Growing Older. Wise is the word I hear, the word I heard growing up with fear. Wise is the thing I know, the title of my name, but something never shown. And oh, we go untraveled. I want to see the world, but it doesn't want to see me now. I'm clinging to that final vow, although I feel defeated by everything I do. Although I feel defeated by nothing but the truth. I leave it behind, 'cause we're growing older. I see the light, and it's growing bolder. I leave it behind, 'cause we're growing older. I see the light, and it's growing bolder. Oh, it's growing older. Words won't come all at once. Words won't come then all at once. Sometimes they come quicker and not at all. Where does the time go? Oh, I guess we'll never know. The current grows strong and it grows a little stronger. The brother's the size of me, he's getting taller. Where does the time go? I guess we'll never know. I leave it behind, 'cause we're growing older. I see the light, and it's growing bolder. I leave it behind, 'cause we're growing older. I see the light. I leave it behind, 'cause we're growing older. I leave it behind, 'cause we're growing older. I see the light, and it's growing bolder. I leave it behind, 'cause we're growing older. Thank you.
Ooh, so good to be here with everybody, and something that you have probably heard before, said by Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, a French Jesuit priest, scientist, paleontologist, theologian, philosopher, and teacher, said, "We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. While this quote serves as somewhat of a motto around here, what does it really mean? While your human form has a beginning and an end, your spiritual form is infinite, eternal, changeless, boundless, and free. But how do we live this spiritual truth in our very human lives? This month, we've been exploring the sovereign self, claim your inner joy and freedom with the empowering wisdom of the Vedas, Upanishads, and Bhagavad Gita by Archarya Shunya. And at the beginning of chapter 2, let me flip there, she writes, although mental and spiritual sovereignty are our true nature, humanity has tragically forgotten its inner spiritual core. Therefore, we need wisdom reminders. So today, I'm going to share with you 4 wisdom reminders from Archarya Shunya, or inspired by her writing. And the first one is rooted in the understanding that part of the human experience is to forget your divinity. What? I know, bummer. But it's true. Each one of us is tasked to remember and awaken to the inner presence of the divine, or what Shunya calls the self with a capital S. In the Vedic tradition, this human lapse of memory is called Maya. And Shunya writes, this cosmic forgetfulness, Maya, is like a spell of bewilderment and spiritual blindness cast over our minds that causes a metaphysical ignorance of our true self. Simply put, Maya causes self-ignorance. Maya prevents us from seeing what is there and makes us see what is not there. And it has 2 characteristics: concealment of what is and projection of what is not. Unfortunately, no one is immune from Maya, from this forgetfulness. We all must go through our own spiritual awakening, develop spiritual understanding, and mature in our spirituality. No one can awaken on your behalf, just like you cannot awaken for anyone else. I know sometimes we might try to make others wake up, but each one of us is on our own path, our own trajectory. And this embodiment of knowing this spiritual truth within, it requires a new perspective, a new thought. And so many of us find our way to the Center for Spiritual Living because we've left the religion of our upbringing, or we want something different, empowering, and uplifting. So we make this commitment to our spiritual lives and spiritual community out of a desire to understand and know the divine in ways that we can't know it on our own. And we are a spiritual learning center because we know that it's through our growth and development that we can see ourselves and the world in new ways that inspire new inner and outer experiences. So Shunya teaches us that biological, emotional, and social potency, health in every dimension, is your true nature. Yet you subscribe to limitations wholeheartedly, and this is due to Maya. Maya is fundamentally unknowable. We don't know why it exists or when it began, But like any form of ignorance, Maya will only cease to exist when sacred instruction and right knowledge, or knowledge of the self with a capital S, arise in the mind. With such knowledge, we slowly remember our own inner nature and begin to live from inwardly validated and experienced mental and spiritual sovereignty. We live as rulers of our own lives. Until then, the spell of Maya first conceals who you are, the ever-present formless self, and then projects what you are not, body, mind, and intellect, or the not self. Would you like to be the ruler of your own life? I mean, yes, please. And so here is our first wisdom reminder. My body, mind, heart, and ego are all vehicles for my soul to have this human experience. Health in every dimension is my true nature. So I'm just going to say that again. Our first wisdom reminder, number one, my body, mind, heart, and ego are all vehicles for my soul to have this human experience. Health in every dimension is my true nature. Now, did you notice that I snuck in ego into the mix? Because, you know, struggling with our egos is real. I am like the first person to admit that there is a struggle there. And oftentimes in this spiritual context, we view the ego as bad, evil, or wrong. But what if it were simply part of being human, just like having a body? So Shunya teaches that the ego is a function of our forgetfulness of Maya. So let's take a closer look. Here's what she says about it. Gosh, a new way to look at our ego. Yes, please. Maya strikes universally. In everyone's mind, it creates delusion and feeds the sense of a separate, limited identity maker known as ego or ahamkara. The ego is an aspect of your self-ignorant mind. And in the Upanishads, the ego is known as ahamkara. Aha means I, and kara, maker. So this aham is really nothing more than a singular I thought at the core of your being, and the ego is constructed from one dominant thought, I am. Therefore, your ego is a thought matrix, and this thought matrix makes and unmakes you every day, every moment of every day. So the ego is the I maker. It is how you understand that you are a unique and individualized expression of the divine. So in order to be human, you have to have an ego. So let's not judge, shame, or criticize the ego. However, let us also remember that it isn't the essence of who we really are. Let's be in right relationship. Let's put it into perspective. So here's a way to think about it. If you were to get in your car to drive somewhere, would you get in and then say, I'm a car? No, you wouldn't, because you understand that you're a human using the vehicle to navigate and take you where you want to go. So this is the same with your soul. Your soul arrived in a human body with a mind, heart, and ego. All of these aspects of your human self are a way for your spirit, your essence, your self with a capital S, to move through this life and experience yourself fully. So Shunya reminds us, if not for the illusions of Maya, you would see yourself as free, a truly sovereign being in this very moment. You have pure freedom to define, redefine, or undefine yourself and your life script as you please. You are free right now. If all paths have led you to this moment, then your freedom is right here inside the good, bad, or ugly circumstances in your life, right here in the challenge facing you right now. Wow. So if our freedom is right here in the challenges facing us, let us not run from our challenge. Let us face them. So whatever you are facing in your life, there is a part of you that is already free. Furthermore, every experience is a way for the truth of your being, your sovereign self, to be known. You know how they say everything in the universe is for you, not against you? That means that every experience is an opportunity for you to know a deeper truth of yourself. So whatever you're facing, no matter how painful or chaotic or scary, you can breathe and then tell yourself, there is something wanting to be known through this. Every experience is a way for the truth of your being, your sovereign self, to be known. And what if everything you're seeking exists within the self with a capital S? So here's your second wisdom reminder. I am free to define, redefine, or undefine myself and my life script. My freedom is right here in whatever I'm facing. I am free right now. Certainly impacts your optimism, your hope, your confidence, that wisdom reminder, yes? So Shunya teaches that knowing and embodying this deep truth of yourself with a capital S, that it requires you to unclutter the mind from its false beliefs and attitude that really just come from Maya, from this forgetfulness. Remember that everyone has. So to do this, it's important to understand the false persona that arises out of ego. So Shunya writes and teaches about this term jiva, refers to the illusionary self or false persona that emerges from the thought matrix that is the ego. The ego-born jiva believes and behaves according to a shifting sense of I in the mind, feeling worthy when applauded and dejected when criticized. I can certainly relate to that. But unfortunately, the jiva, this false persona, is never satisfied or content. Always looking outward, it seeks approval from others. It tends to uphold the status quo. It might try to find joy, happiness, or worthiness in controlling circumstances or people. You know, growing up, I learned that my worthiness came from my accomplishments and contributions. So therefore, I've achieved a lot, right? This false belief that comes from Maya, this false belief that my accomplishments and contributions create my worthiness, that's the false belief from Maya, the forgetfulness, created this false persona that I then went and achieved a whole bunch of stuff. Someone somewhere could call me an overachiever. But when I believe that my worthiness comes from my accomplishments, then a lasting, deep sense of worthiness eludes me. The joy of success fades, and the next accomplishment must be bigger, or brighter. There seems to be an ever-moving target that can never fully be reached. Now, I'm not saying that I shouldn't ever do anything or pursue any goals, but I am talking about understanding the motivation. Why am I doing something? Is it to prove my worth? Or am I doing it as an expression of my calling, my purpose, my soul? Am I doing this to get something? Or am I doing this to be of service? Shunya writes, all happiness is already present within you. Simply pause long enough to learn to find it within. You are enough. This is wisdom reminder number 3. All happiness is already present within me. I am willing to pause long enough to learn to find it within. I am enough. Such powerful 3 little words. I am enough. What might you do? Or who might you be if you truly believed these 3 words? Archarya Shunya encourages us to let go of the false self, the jiva, by reclaiming the true self, the sovereign self. She instructs us to do this through mindfulness, to stay consciously aware of the self with a capital S. She asks us to live a deliberate life so that you're not caught up in the ego traps of Maya that cause you to put on the false persona of jiva. And she writes that mindfulness means choosing to remain alert in our life by remembering. I am pure awareness with a body and mind. I am not merely a struggling body and mind-based individual ego. I am spirit divine. Mindfulness entails not getting carried away by external circumstances and not leading an automated, scripted, entirely unexamined life. So here's the request, here's the practice. Examine your life so that you can learn the difference between the false self and the true self. Shunya tells us this takes discipline, conscious practice, and self-acceptance. So instead of trying to fix yourself, realize that the sovereign self with a capital S is always present, never needs fixing, and is right here alive inside yourself. It is leading you, guiding you, bringing circumstances, people, and experiences into your life so that you can move towards something that's more purposeful and meaningful for you, or even something that's more playful and joyful for you. So here is our fourth wisdom reminder for the day. I am pure awareness with the body and mind. I am not merely a struggling body and mind-based individual ego. I am spirit divine. So when we put all of these wisdom reminders together, it reads like this. My body, mind, heart, and ego are all vehicles for my soul to have this human experience. Health in every dimension is my true nature. I am free to define, redefine, or undefine myself and my life script. My freedom is right here in whatever I'm facing. I am free right now. All happiness is already present within me, and I am willing to pause long enough to learn to find it within. I am enough. I am pure awareness with the body and mind. I am not merely a struggling body and mind-based individual ego. I am spirit divine. So take one or all of these wisdom reminders this week. Keep them front and center as you learn the difference between your false self and your true self. Know that you are divinely guided because you are the divine. There is no way that you can do this wrong. You are free, and so it is. So let's take it into prayer treatment. I invite you to turn within, maybe close your eyes if you can, and just feel the vibration of love and freedom and grace that exists at your core, at your essence. This is the presence of the self with a capital S, the divine, the sovereign self. I know that it is alive and well, ever present, with infinite potential and infinite intelligence. And so recognizing that the truth at the center of each one of us is this wisdom and love and wholeness, I now claim that for myself. And as I claim it as the truth of who and what I am, I claim it as the truth of who and what each one listening here is. And so what I affirm is that this truth, that it shines the light of awareness exactly where each one of us need to go, exactly what we need to know. This week, it moves each one of us into action with love and compassion, with awareness and discipline. Each one of us is guided into the highest and best expression of our soul. And oh, how good it is to remember that no matter what we've been through, none of us is broken, that there is an inherent wholeness within. And this week, I know that it makes itself known, that it emerges through the mind, through the heart, through the lived experience. And I am so grateful for the ways in which it delights, inspires, supports, and protects each one of us. What a blessing to remember that we can redefine, undefine, recreate ourselves and our life script right here and right now. Anything is possible. So letting go of anything that feels like lack, limitation, or separation, I step into this truth of wholeness, of possibility. I let it all go. I let it be, and I step into this new reality of the sovereign self, alive and well, right here and now. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Cassandra. Beautiful people, is your heart and soul nourished after this experience today? It was beautiful. And with that knowing, if you are inspired by today's music and message, as well as our weekly, monthly programs, we gratefully receive your gift, tithe, and offering. Just take a breath into the fullness of the experience. And remember, you can donate on our website at www.csl-whiterock.com/donate. Mail us a check or send an e-transfer. Gifts of all sizes are helpful. Big ones, little ones, all kinds. They're wonderful. Thank you so much. Your contributions make all the difference in the world to us. Blessings, blessings. And please join me in declaring our prosperity affirmation. Divine love within blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is.